Okay, so we have a Subaru differential that I am going to show you how to calculate gear ratio and check the tooth gear mesh patterns for my ring gear and my pinion gear. So now let's do the gear ratio first. So I have a yellow dot on a tooth back here. I'm going to count my teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I always start with the yellow dot. So 10 on my pinion gear, and now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with my ring gear. Okay, so there's the first tooth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 36, 37, 38, 39. So 39 divided by 10, so I have 10 on the pinion gear and 39 on the ring gear. It would be a 3.9 to 1 gear ratio. Okay, so what that means is I would have to turn this 3.9 times, turn the pinion gear or pinion shaft 3.9 times to get my ring gear to move around 1 time. So let's see if that's right. So I want to pay attention to where this is at, and we're going to go right here and we're going to measure it. All right, 1, 2, 3, and I'm not going to go quite to 4. So right about there, 3.9, and you see my ring gear is right at where it was, pretty close. Okay. All right, now for the gear mesh pattern, I have 2 types of gear greases that you could use, white lithium, or I actually have the marking compound that you get from that you get in the kit when you order a differential ring and pinion set. Okay, so I'm going to try both out to see how my pattern is. So first thing I'm going to use is white lithium. So I already have it from previous times on this differential because I use this for the same lesson every year. So I'm going to put this on liberally, the white lithium, and we want to see what the pattern difference is between using these 2 greases. So 5 to 6 teeth is good, you know, both front and back, because one side of the tooth is the dry side and one side is the coast side. So you want to look at both gear patterns. And then I'm going to go to where I marked it before with the dot, and I'm going to use my marking compound. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 5 to 6 teeth with the marking compound, see how we do. Okay, got that done. So now what we want to do is we want to rotate this forward and backwards several times to get the mesh pattern right. So I'm just going to go and spin this all the way around. And I need to clean this off a little bit so we don't have the gear mesh the different greases mixed like I do right now, but this is just an experiment. Okay, now I'm going to go back because you got to do both front and back because you want to get the drive side and the coast side of the teeth. All right, so let's see how we are. All right, so this is where I marked it. Okay, with my gear mesh for my compound. And you see right here, this is the coast side. I would like it a little bit more deeper into my tooth. So the way we talk about this is the heel, this is the toe as you move out. One side's going to be coast, and the other side's going to be drive. So my coast side looks not quite like as much as I would like. The drive side, on the other hand, I'm pretty happy with my drive side. So it's the full tooth going from the heel right here all the way to the toe. Again, it could go in a little deeper. So what we could do is we could move the ring gear closer to the pinion gear, or we could take the pinion gear and move it deeper into the ring gear, depending on what our tooth pattern is. Let's move it to the white lithium and see if there's a difference. You can see I can find where that white lithium is. So now it's all starting to, so I'm assuming this is it right here. And yeah, that's the drive side, full tooth. I'm pretty happy. It's going almost all the way down inside. And then let's look at the coast side. Coast side a little better on this. Try both greases out, but my advice is to clean it in between each time. I have used white lithium for years and I haven't had a problem. When you do this lab sheet, I do want you to do the gear ratio as well. So make sure you do the gear ratio and write it down on the lab sheet what the gear ratio is for tooth pattern. So this is an example of how you would adjust your tooth pattern on the pinion and the ring gear for the differential. So ideal contact is full tooth, right in the middle of the tooth, going kind of deep but not on the edge. Okay. So as you go through this, it tells you what to do. So if you have a high contact pattern, it tells you to move the pinion shaft deeper in towards the differential carrier. If you have a low contact, move the pinion away from the differential carrier. And then if you have a heel contact, move the ring gear closer to the pinion and while maintaining backlash. Or if you have a toe pattern, move the ring gear away from the pinion while maintaining minimum backlash. So I'm going to make another little quick video of how to check backlash. But backlash is really important. This is another example of how to look at gear patterns. There's all kinds of charts online. Tells you to use thinner or thicker shins for the pinion gear. So here's the thinner one, here's the thicker one. So if you have a root heel contact, you want to go with a thinner pinion shaft shim. If you have a top toe contact, do a thicker pinion position shim. So different wear patterns require different adjustments. Okay, we just went over tooth pattern and how to interpret tooth patterns. Now we're going to show you how to do backlash. Backlash is a really small measurement, and it's talking about the play between the pinion gear and the ring gear that allows oil to get inside. These teeth are supposed to ride on a layer of oil. Listen real closely, and you'll hear a click. That's the backlash, okay? So backlash is that play between the gears to allow oil to get through to quiet the meshing of those gears. So backlash has to always be correct. So I'm going to put this dial indicator right at the edge of the gear. Okay, this is a cool little magnetic one. You don't ever want it fully extended like that. You want it somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to push it in a little bit, and then I'm going to lock it down. You want it right on the edge of the tooth. I could put it on the bolt holding the ring gear on too. I'm going to zero this out now. And you don't want to turn the gear, so I'm going to hold the pinion gear. Oh, let's zero it out again. I'm going to hold the pinion gear, and I just want to measure the swing of the needle on this. There we go. So I'm going 2 before and 2 after, or maybe 3 after. And that is the play of the backlash. Now, occasionally when you do this, you're going to move the teeth. So it looks like 4 to 5 thousandths what I'm getting. So you don't want to turn the gear. You only want to measure the play that's taking place with the meshing of the gears. Now, keep in mind, to close out this video, there's 2 ways you could adjust gear patterns and to adjust gear patterns and to adjust your backlash. You could take this pinion gear and you could change the shins and move this pinion gear in and out. That's going to change the tooth pattern and change your backlash. You could also take the ring gear and move it to the back and forth this way. So 2 adjustments: pinion gear back and forth, ring gear side to side. And you're looking for that meshing of the gears with your backlash measurement and with your tooth patterns. Alright, we just showed you gear mesh patterns, backlash. The last thing I would ever check before I put the dry shaft on, the wheels on, is rotational torque. How much torque it takes to turn the pinion shaft flange. Okay, these bearings are under preload with the shim. You have a front shim and a rear shim with 2 tapered roller bearings. So we want to measure how much torque this takes to turn. You need an inch-pound torque wrench, okay? And I'm just gonna set it at 0, and I'm gonna use like 1 finger. Okay, here's for the rotational torque of the pinion shaft. So I'm gonna use 1 finger, and I'm gonna see how much it turns. All right, we're going to check the differential fluid on this 2004 Ford Expedition with a 4.6 liter. Okay, I'm going to go on and go underneath it. I have my differential here. It's leaking a little bit from the back pumpkin area on the drain bolt. It's because it's a shop car. So this would be where you drain it. As far as where you fill it, it's right up inside here. On this one plug, it takes just a regular 3/8 drive extension, or you just go with a ratchet if you want without the extension. You know, stick that in there, and we're going to turn that. We're nearing the end of removing this drain plug, and as soon as I move that, take that drain plug out, it should start to seep if it's full. Now remember, I have a little bit of a leak on the sorry, this is the drain plug. This is the fill plug. So I have a little bit of a leak on the drain plug. So, yep. So we're a little low on this differential. And I'm going to stick my finger in here and see if I can't get anything on my fingertips. So this is low. I need to add some differential fluid to this. A really good tool to have if you're working with differentials is a Montevac fluid pump or evacuator. It's from Matco. It has a nice little foot pedal here to keep it where it doesn't rock on you. And it's just like a bicycle pump. And you have a little one-way check valve. If you want to suck fluid in, it's down. If you want to suck fluid up or out, it's up. And then you got the tube right here. You put this tube inside a differential and you just pump away. All right, just in time. I ran out of gear oil, but it is seeping out now, so we're good. So I'm going to take this tube out. You want it to be able to be seeping just a little bit out of the hole. And then I'm going to grab my plug, put that back inside, grab my ratchet, and tighten this to specifications, whatever the spec is. In my guess, it's going to be pretty low, somewhere between 5 foot-pounds and 15 foot-pounds. I doubt it's going to be 15. Okay? And of course, when you're done, you're going to wipe all this off.